Israel's military continued its attacks on Lebanon overnight, killing at least 8 people, even after President Trump said both sides had, quote, agreed that all shooting will stop, unquote. Among the dead is James Karam, a dentist who was killed along with his daughter and son when an Israeli drone bombed their car in southern Lebanon. Another Israeli attack killed 2 people and damaged the Jabal Amel University Hospital in Tyre. Lebanon's health ministry reports Israeli strikes have killed more than 3,400 people since March 2nd. Over 10,000 have been wounded. Axios is reporting during an expletive-laden call, Trump told Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, quote, "You're effing crazy. You'd be in prison if it weren't for me. I'm saving your ass. Everybody hates you now. Everybody hates Israel because of this," unquote, the president reportedly said. After the call, Trump said in a social media post that during an expletive-laden call, Trump told Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, quote, "You're effing crazy. You'd be in prison if it weren't for me. I'm saving your ass. Everybody hates you now. Everybody hates Israel because of this," unquote.
Kahlaliyam la Yahweh Bahashem Yahawashai Bahashem Rachaha Kodash. As it is written, let the elders, the real world, be counted worthy of. It's like it. Let the elders, the real world, be counted worthy of double honors, especially they who labor in the word and doctrine, which are the Presbyterian of Grey Millstone, beginning with the elder apostles, the elder bishops, and the elders on down. Peace and salutation to all the Yakim of the hopeful elect. May Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahawashai, Bahashem, Racha, Kudash, Barakatham. Yahweh is the true name of the Heavenly Father, whom the world ignorantly calls God. Yahweh means he to be, he is, he exists, the central power of heaven and earth, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. His name is Yahweh. Alright, and Yahawashai is the true name of his only begotten Son, whom the world ignorantly calls JC. Yahawashai means the deliverer or his savior. That's the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, and the Messiah that came to die for the sins of Israel. His name is Yahawashai. And the Ruach HaKodesh is the Spirit Holy. And these are the names that you're supposed to call upon and pray to, especially you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and all among the heathen. They may look like the heathen, but seed line goes back to the patriarchy of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, on father's side. Shalom, students of Yesharallah. My name is Gabaga of the Awful Election from the Company of Prophets in Toronto. And today is June the 3rd. Okay, Wednesday, June the 3rd. Another day closer to the deliverance of the letter of Israel and the destruction of Babylon the Great, aka America, which should be destroyed,
the president reportedly said. After the call, Trump said in a social media post that he'd had a productive phone call with Netanyahu and that, quote, there will be no troops going to Beirut, unquote. Trump's comment came after.
And any day now, all hell could break loose as going to a time in the scriptures known as Jacob trouble. All right, it's going to be a time of great distress, great turmoil, great havoc, and great suffering upon the earth. Okay, and the people are going to be tried when the elites of Israel, come up with the new world order system, which is going to be implemented by the mark of the beast, which is our FD microchip. Okay, which if you take, you're going to be destroyed in that time of nuclear destruction. All right, ultimately, America and Israel are going to be destroyed in that in the war of Armageddon, which is also known as the Third War. Okay, today being Wednesday, that's what we're going to go into. Okay, so I'm going to say the Shabbat this month falls on Sunday evening to Saturday. It's like a Saturday evening to Sunday evening. So that's when the Shabbat comes in. So going into it, as you can see, this video that basically shows the atrocities committed by at the hand of Israel. Okay, the state of Israel over there in Palestine, which it came out that Trump had a phone call with Netanyahu, and the phone call basically Trump was cursing him out. That's what they said, right? Trump was cursing him out, saying like, you're effing crazy. Okay, then now the whole world hates Israel. Okay, and if it wasn't for Trump, this guy would be in jail. That goes to show you that all this is scriptural. Okay, because ultimately in the scriptures it tells about how how he is the most despised. So we're going to start with that one. So this is going to the Third World War, the War of Armageddon, which ultimately, is going to happen. Okay, you can't prevent it. Okay, there's nothing that Esau Edom, can do, or even Trump himself can do to stop it. This is the Most High's will, and that's why I see Netanyahu doing what he's doing, because ultimately the Most High is controlling him. It's all according to scriptures. The book of Obadiah 1 verse 1, it says, the vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Bashem Yoshai power, concerning Edom, which Edom is the so-called Caucasian race. All you so-called white people, you really Edomites, okay, would they be from Russia, would they be from Europe, would they be from Israel, would they be from America, from Australia, from South Africa, you're all Edomites, okay? If you see, if your seed line goes back to the man that's Esau Edom, okay, which was really, it was not white, he's red, because the word Edom in the Hebrew means red. See, therefore, you people, you're so Caucasian, you're not red. So you're not white, you're red. As you can see, this man right here, Netanyahu, his face doesn't look like his shirt. His shirt is white, but his face is really closer to his tie, okay, because it's really, is a different shade of red. Okay, when you see the Edomites, in the sun, they turn red, right? That's the truth. It says, we have heard a rumor from the Lord Yahweh, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise and let us rise up against her in battle. This ambassador, like you always say, was a man by the name of Abdul Nasser Gabal, which basically, made a statement saying that there will never be peace in the Middle East because the Jews left black and came back white. See, so therefore, that's why ultimately that region has not experienced any peace, because the people that call themselves Jewish are really Edomites. Okay, that's the truth. Verse 2, and it reads, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised, you see? And that's ultimately what's happening, based on all these crimes that these Amalekites, so-called small hats, as we call them, and the J-double-O's have been doing, he has caused the earth to hate them, to really despise them. That's what even Trump said. Trump said, that the whole world hates Netanyahu and really the Israelis. Okay, that's right. So therefore, and ultimately, the thing about it too is like Trump can help it, but he has to come in and bail Israel out of whatever they get whatever they get themselves involved in, because this is part of, because ultimately, really, Israel controls America. Okay, the small hatters. Okay, they are known as the chief house of Edom. You see, verse 2 says, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground. So ultimately, that's what these Edomites really feel like. They feel like, they can do all these things in the earth and not have to suffer any consequences. All right, they have the backing of America and the UN behind them, so therefore, they're able to commit all these crimes. They have the NATO alliances, NATO, the EU forces, okay, to basically to aid them in all their endeavors. Because when you go into the history of Israel, Israel was established, it was put in place by the British. Okay, the British came up and came up with that declaration, Balfour Declaration. Okay, and they put them in that land. And ever since then, America has been there to help Israel in all its endeavors. Okay, let's go ahead and get that. Let's book of Jeremiah 49 verse 20, and it reads, let me see. Yeah, Jeremiah 49 verse 20, and it reads, therefore hear the counsel of the Lord Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, that he hath taken against Edom, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Now, Teman, so-called Germans, okay, which the Ashkenazi Jews they're really Germans, so they can be seen as Teman, okay, because ultimately they are the brainchild of Esau, okay. They want to pull the strings behind, they pull the strings behind the doors, right? It says, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. You see, so going back to the precept I brought out in Obadiah, how it says, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. So ultimately, the Most High made the small, the Edomites be small, for one, they're small in number, the small in stature. Okay, well, they might be, they're small in numbers, okay, and they're small in, basically in good works, okay. They're big in evil works, but when it comes to good works, they're very small. Says, surely the least of the flock shall draw them on. Who's the least of the flock? The least of the flock is the so-called Judawalus, okay, the so-called Israelis. That's why America has to be, that's why America always has to come in and bail Israel out of all its turmoil, whether it be financially, okay, even and also whether it be militarily, because they support Israel financially, okay, and they support Israel militarily, okay. Trump's as to the American government, the tax money that the taxpayer money usually goes to support the war effort over there in Israeli, right? Says, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make the invitation desolate with them. That's right. So ultimately the Most High is going to destroy, these two lands. Says this the flock. The Lord is going to use Amalek to so-called Jews to start the third world. So that's right. So this is what we're heading down to. We're heading into third world war. This precept here, Jeremiah 50 verse 45. It says, therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord Yahweh that he had taken against Babylon. Babylon is America. Okay, Babylon is, in Hebrew, is Babel, which means confusion. America is a place of confusion. Okay, nothing but confusion runs down in America. When you see people themselves, especially, all the, America being the melting pot, everyone in the earth, all the peoples of the earth can be found in America, and they bring in the different philosophies, they bring in the different gods and religions, and this only brings about confusion. Because this is America is Babylon. It says, therefore, hear ye the counsel of the Lord Yahweh, that he had taken against Babylon, and his purpose that he has purposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Again, this is also in reference to America. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Once again, those being the Israelis, surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. Right? At the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved, and the cry of the earth, and the cry is heard among the nations. That's right. That's what I'm going to, what America gets destroyed in that nuclear destruction, which is going to come with a loud boom, the loud, shaking of the earth. It's going to be so shaking. It's going to be so severe that's going to shake the whole world. Once those missiles get shot off from the ends of the earth, from countries like Russia, China, North Korea, okay, and really all these nations that have ICBM missiles, they're going to shoot their missiles upon America and Israel to destroy these two lands. You see, it's going to get that. So spare no arrows. Can we hear book of Jeremiah 50 verse 14? Okay. So I go to the point and it says, put yourselves in array against Babylon, round about all ye that bend the bow. Who's the all ye that bend the bow? All the countries that have nuclear capabilities. Okay, they brandish ICBM weapons and hypersonic missiles. Says, put yourselves in array against Babylon, around about all ye that bend the bow. Shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she hath sinned against the Lord Yahweh. That's right. So America is going to be destroyed. America is Babylon. It's going to be destroyed in that nuclear destruction. And all this, the only ones that make it out of America is going to be the elect of Israel, because they have been chosen, and they've been called and they've been chosen. Okay, so but anybody else that's not the elect, if you take that chip, if you take the mark of the beast, which is the chip, you're going to be destroyed in that nuclear destruction. Verse 15, it says, shout against her round about. She hath given her hand, her foundation are fallen, her walls are thrown down. For it is the vengeance of the Lord Yahweh. Take vengeance upon her, as she hath done unto her, and as she hath done, do unto her. That's right. America, America has caused nothing but bloodshed on the earth. Okay, he has destroyed many nations and countries. Ultimately, they came against the children of Israel. Okay. And they have shed blood of all the tribes within America, man. So therefore, the Messiah is going to repay them back, by blood, okay, through the fire. It says, cut off the sower from Babylon, and him that handleth the sickle in the time of the harvest. For the fear of the oppressing sword, they shall turn everyone to his own people. They shall flee everyone to his own land. That's right. So these people, once they see that America's judgment is looming, they're going to seek to escape, to go back to their countries. Okay, as you can see, people are no longer buying into the whole American lifestyle. People are starting to see that the way of America really brings forth death. Okay, and it's not profitable. So therefore, they say to go back to the old ways. Okay, and they're not really rushing to go into America as they did before. See, certainly America's going to be destroyed. Okay. Because now we're going to do, I want to say, Barata Yahweh, Baraka Yahweh Shai, I want to say, Kwema Sharwallah, Wa Abad Babal, Shalom Akim.